Good afternoon, students. So, today in my class, I will continue with the second part of the explanation of the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. Now, let us start. So, in the last class, we saw how John Keats tells us about different objects of nature which gives us beauty, how beauty helps us to bind us to the Mother Earth, and how it helps us to remove all sorts of despondencies from our souls. So, we will continue here with the rest of the poem now. So, I'll read the lines first. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young sprouting a shady boon, from simple sheep and such are daffodils, with the green world they live in and clear rills, that for themselves a cooling covert make against a hot season. The mead forests break, rich with a sprinkling of fair masked rose blooms. Now see here, yes in spite of all. So yes in spite of all means in the first part we saw that Keats talked about all sorts of unhealthy things in our lives. And we have to continue our journey with those things, and only a single object of beauty can remove it. Now, in spite of all means that, yes, in spite of all means that, in spite of all these sad things that we have in our lives, some shape of beautiful objects or some beautiful objects remove the cover of sad feelings from our heart. So here it tells us that yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. So now here pall means a thick dark cloud of something. So it seems like a dark cloud of gloominess, or a dark cloud of something which is very bad is hovering over us, and only a simple shape of beauty or even a simple object of beauty or a beautiful object can remove away that cloud over that is hovering us. So, in spite of all these sad things, in spite of all these gloominess, despondencies that we have, some beautiful objects remove the cover of sad feelings from our heart and soul. So, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. Now, see, from our dark spirits means from where does it removes? It removes from our hearts, from our soul. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils, with the green world they live in, and clear rills, that for themselves a cooling covert make against a hot season, the mead forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair masked rose. Now see, the sun, the moon, trees old and young, these are all objects of nature. So these are all objects of nature, these are all creations of God in different shapes and sizes. So Keats here wants to tell us that beauty can be in different shapes and sizes, it can be in different forms, it can be in any creation of God. Now here the poet here refers to the images of beauty on earth, as I already told you all, the sun, moon, old and young trees, sheep, green pastures, daffodils, streams, marks rose, flowers scattered in the mead forest thick growth of fern. That he sees beauty at its best through various objects in nature and appreciates their simple and serene beauty. He tells us that beauty doesn't exist only in grand objects like sun or moon, but also in simple natural things like the daffodils. Yes, definitely the sun, moon, these are some grand creations of God. Beauty not only exists in the sun and the moon. Now sun is very beautiful. The moon is also very beautiful. And even he tells us that trees which are old and young, both these trees, the old and young, they are beautiful. And even a tree is old or young, it doesn't matter. What does it gives us? It sprouts a shady boon. Sprouts a shady boon means it gives us shelter during the hot summer season to live in. For a simple sheep such as daffodils, for a simple sheep, here it refers to that animal sheep, but sheep is here used metaphorically for a human being. All right, and such are daffodils. So daffodils are beautiful flowers which you will find there. So now see trees old and young sprouting a shady bean. Here actually the poet celebrates the beauty of nature, as I already told you all, that is trees, by calling them as a boon for humanity and symbol of protection, as they give us shade and protection from heat and light of sun and rain. So it provides a shady boon, it gives us shelter, it gives us protection. Now, if you see simple sheep, as I already told you all, that here sheep refers to human being. Now, it symbolizes this sheep is um, sheep actually, this animal represents innocence. Okay, so it symbolizes innocent beauty. Now, if you think about, like, Jesus Christ is considered as a shepherd surrounded by his flock of sheep and his followers. The shepherd and the sheep imagery is here actually taken from Bible and has been used here, sheep, in order to symbolize the divine beauty of innocence like mankind, for whom the objects of nature are a boon. Now then comes with the green world they live in. So with the green world they live in is men finds true happiness in the lapse of nature, whose beauty is at its best in lush green meadows. You will find it in pastures providing life support to plants and animals. And beautiful objects cast an everlasting spell, and the beauty of the daffodils growing in the pastures, it also describes about how beauty can be found in different places. And now see this line, that with the green world they live in and the clear rills that for themselves cooling covered me. Now these clear rills are small streams with transparent water. So during the hot summer season, these clear rills or these streams, they provide a cooling shelter to the bushes. This provide water to the bushes, means it provides life to them. Okay, it protects themselves from the hot season and also gives us a cooling and a pleasant experience. So cooling covered make, so covered means an area of a thick low bushes and trees where animals can hide. So there are bushes there growing beside a lake and or beside this small stream, and the water from this small stream actually provides life to them, provides a cooling sensation to them during the hot season. Now against the hot season, so against the hot season it gives a pleasant and a cool experience. The mead forest break rich with the mead forest break rich with sprinkling of fair mask rose blooms. Now the mead forest break, so mead forest breaks means in the middle of the forest there you will find fair marks roses blooming. So beauty can be found anywhere, beauty can be found even in these masked roses, also in grand objects like sun and the moon, and even also in the trees old and young, and also in the flowers like daffodils and some clear streams. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heaven spring. Now, as Keats was telling us about different objects of beauty which can be found in the creations of God, like the sun, moon, daffodils, simple shape, trees old and young, clear rills. In the same way, here he tells us that we can also find beauty in growth and decay of creations of nature. Now, grandeur here means greatness and dooms means destruction. And he even tells us that we have imagined for the mighty dead all lovely tales we have heard or read. So, beauty can also be found in the lives of some mighty people, or you can say some people, or some mighty warriors who laid their lives for the countries or for humanity. They died for a noble cause. So from those persons lives or the tales or which we have heard or read about them, from those lovely tales of the mighty dead also we can see beauty in it, not only in the creations of God but also in the grandeur of the dooms, the deaths of these mighty heroes, of the tales which we have heard or read. We haven't seen their lives, but we have read about them in their books, or somewhere we have heard about them. So we even find beauty in the lives of these mighty warriors also, who laid their lives for their country or for some noble cause. So he says that these beautiful things are the gifts of God from these beautiful things are the gifts from God for all of us. And like, see, all the lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink. So these beautiful objects or these beautiful things are like some sort of immortal drink which is poured onto us from the fountain of heaven, and it is endlessly flowing towards us. It will never end, it will always flow and flow. That is why it is said that an endless fountain of immortal drink. Now see, the tales of such mighty warriors which we have heard or read are like endless fountain of immortal drink, or you can say elixir, which gives us life for us, as they get recorded in the pages of history and they leave an everlasting imprint on us, and they serve as an everlasting source of motivation actually to those who read or hear about such great men who achieved glory in that. So we can also find some inspiration, or we can find some motivation even in the tales of these mighty heroes. Now, endless um, fountain of immortal drink, here it means that beauty, actually, if you see that these beautiful objects are like some sort of immortal drink which is poured upon us from the mountain, from the fountain of heaven, or you can say that it is beauty, whether it is found in growth like the creations of God, or death means in the death of these mighty heroes. These are endless source of inspiration to us. So that is why it is said that it is an immortal drink. It is an endless fountain of immortal drink. Means it is continuously pouring on us and it is never ending. So pouring onto us from the heaven spring. Now, since already I told you all that beauty is the greatest gift of God to men, which has been showered upon men from heaven, like that immortal drink. So beauty is eternal and everlasting, in whose glory men on earth derive an endless source of happiness. Now, pouring onto us from the heaven spring means this immortal drink is poured upon us from the heaven by God from the heaven's corner. So ultimately, at last, we can say that through this poem, the poet proves that he is a worshipper of beauty, which he considers as the moving spirit of life, and love of beauty is the dominant theme of this poem, as we all know by reading this poem. And he believes that beauty stays with a person to get him through hard times. Means, as I already told you all, that all the difficult things which we have in our life, a simple object of beauty can relieve us from such hardness, such grief and sadness from our lives. So since the poet is a worshipper of beauty, he displayed it very clearly, the different objects of beauty which we can find even in the creations of God or in the tales of the mighty deeds. So I have given some important words here, the meaning of some important words. Nasi Paul, it is a thick dark cloud of something. Sprouting, it means producing or growing. Boon, it means blessing. Rills means small streams. Covert, an area of thick low bushes and trees where animals can hide. Break, a thick mass of bushes. Grandeur, splendor. Doom's last day of existence. Heaven spring, the door of God's home. And brink here means extreme edge or extreme corner. So with this, I finished the explanation of this poem, A Thing of Beauty, and I wind up my class for today. And thank you everyone for being in my class.